Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the twin brothers Tolga and Fatin from Dying Light and Dying Light the Following. So before we start with the video, I just want to let you guys know that the video is going to have a lot of spoilers. So if you don't like spoilers, you're not a spoiler guy, well, you can skip the video. And if you don't really care about the spoilers, well, we can start with the video here. So for people who are not aware of the character Tolga and Fatin, well, Tolga and Fatin are actually a really interesting character in Dying Light and Dying Light the Following. And they actually have a kind of important role to play in this whole game as well. So Tolga and Fatin, the twin brothers, were actually the engineers employed by Volkan Yusif Dal, the wealthiest man in Harran. So the wealthiest man in Harran, Dal, was like, the outbreak happened, he needed to escape Harran, but the means of transport, everything has been destroyed. There's no means of transport, so they have to make something, they have to find a way to get out of Harran. And that's why he appointed Tolga and Fatin to create something that will help them escape Harran. So it was easy for the brothers to make anything they want, but they needed resources and they cannot go out and look for resources since they are smart but not strong. So Dal ends up sending a messenger to Carl Crane, who tells them about the project and also tells them about Tolga and Fatin, what they're making and all stuff, and Carl Crane agrees to help them. So later Carl Crane goes to Jaffarsville station where he finds the brothers, and the brothers give him a quest and tells him to go look for some hooks and also look for 3 engine batteries in the buses. And Carl Crane is like, well, I'm gonna do that, So he goes and looks for all the stuff. He gets all the stuff for the brothers, and later the brothers relocate their place and they actually go to the fisherman's village where they see Crane again. And this time, Carl Crane has been told to get power cables and duct tapes and all other stuff. And one interesting thing that was told by Tolga and Fatin during a quest was to get a sonar machine. I mean, that came out of nowhere, They were like, hey Crane, we need a sonar machine as well. Please go get that for us. So Carl Crane goes to an abandoned quarantine zone, which I think was on Infamy Bridge. When he goes there, he gets that sonar machine. And later, when he recovers that, he goes back to the brothers. He's like, well, I got you the stuff. So what are you making? So the brothers are like, well, come later, we'll show you our project. So when Carl Crane returns, he actually sees them making a submarine. And Volkan is also standing beside Stems, and he's like, well, we're about to launch a submarine, so stand here and look us leaving the place. So the submarine gets started, and everyone's like, oh, whoa, it's working, it's working. It goes in the water, and boom, the whole submarine gets destroyed. Damn, I feel bad for them. When that thing gets destroyed, Volkan is looking at the brothers, just like, shit, now what are we supposed to make? The brothers are like, we should make a jetpack. So now they are actually focusing on creating jetpack, and Carl Crane is like, well, just leave them. Carl Crane is like, I gotta do nothing with them, so let's just leave the place. Carl Crane is like, they're probably some stupid people, trying to create something that will actually kill them. Instead of escaping Harran, they'll end up putting the corpse in the water. Well, that's pretty stupid, but yes, that's what was happening. So Carl Crane ends up leaving the place, and that was the end. We never saw what happened after that. Well, let me tell you what actually happened. The brothers later made a jetpack, which actually failed as well. Since Carl Crane was not working for Tolga and Fatin, he wasn't helping, they had no one to actually get resources, and because of that, they were not able to make a proper jetpack. So they actually end up giving the hope, and then later they actually managed to find an abandoned plane, which later these brothers actually fixed. I mean, it's crazy how smart these guys are, but they are stupid at the same time. So they actually fixed the plane, and they end up flying with the plane really far away from Harran and end up crashing in the countryside. And just for a small information, Tolga and Fatin and Dal, all 3 of them were on the plane. When the plane crashed, Dal left that place, and we don't know why he actually left, but we end up knowing that later in the story. So when this thing crashed, Tolga and Fatin were like hiding somewhere in the tower, and then Carl Crane comes out of nowhere. He's like, whoa, there's a plane crashed over there. I gotta go look who crashed it. Carl Crane goes there and he looks at the plane. He's like, well, the plane crashed, it's burning, but there is no dead body. There's really no dead body next to it. So he suspects and he looks for the person who might be still alive or probably died somewhere walking. You never know. So he goes and actually finds Tolga and Fatin again. Tolga and Fatin obviously happy to see Crane. I'm not sure about Crane though. But yes, when they visit him, they actually give Carl Crane another task. The task was to find Dal, to locate Dal. To which Carl Crane answered saying, well, the countryside is pretty big. I'm not going to be looking for him everywhere, right? It's impossible. Technically, it's really impossible. So to which Tolga and Fatin gave him a device telling him that we have actually put a tracker in Dal's shoes. This will help you locate where Dal is. And then you remember this mission where this noise was coming from a device like pretty stupid, I know. Been roaming around like an idiot in my buggy to look for this guy and end up finding him inside the safe house. So you find Dal inside a safe house, which is Jasir's farm. But hey, the twist is that Dal was not there. It was Dal's shoes. Somebody else was wearing Dal's shoes. Dal was declared dead by the guy who was wearing that shoe. He was like, well, this guy actually got infected and later turned, so I had to kill him. So Dal is technically dead and the shoes were actually someone else's now. So Carl Crane goes back to Tolga and Fatin and he's like, well, Dal is dead. So when they hear this news, they're like, oh shit, now we gotta find a way to go out of countryside ourselves. So Carl Crane leaves that place and the Tolga and Fatin later again calls Carl Crane and tells him that they actually found an abandoned train. It's really stupid and funny how they actually find everything abandoned. When Carl Crane asked Tolga and Fatin what are they gonna do with this abandoned train, Tolga and Fatin like, well, we're gonna go through this wall, we're gonna break this wall, and we're gonna go to the other side of the countryside. Well, Carl Crane is like, that's pretty stupid because you can die. And these brothers are like, well, we know what we're doing. So Crane is like, well, it's your wish. What do you want? So the brothers are like, well, get this stuff for us, get that stuff for us. And you do all the stuff in the quest itself. When that is done, the train is kind of ready. I mean, it's pretty good. These guys do pretty well, you know. They created a train again. The train is working. They start the engine. Carl Crane is watching, and the train goes through the wall. But hey, when it goes through the wall actually collapses, and there's a huge explosion. When Carl Crane sees that, he's like, well, rest in peace, Tolga and Fatin. They're probably dead, which makes sense. Because, you know, nobody would have survived that big explosion and the whole wall collapsed. If there is no way out at the other side, they probably end up dying in that place itself. And who is going to try to dig that whole pile of junk, you know? It's an outbreak. Impossible. That's not going to happen. So Carl Crane leaves that place thinking that brothers actually died. But by the end of the mission, when the following mission began, and you're going and you're climbing the dam, you actually get a call, which is technically a radio call. And the radio call is actually from Tolga and Fatin. The voice was kind of broken because it was kind of static because they were at a distance. It's the same like Lena. You know, when Lena was calling at the beginning, you could not hear her talking properly. It was a static most of the time. And that was happening in this case as well. There was static in the voice, but you could hear them talking that they actually escaped. And Carl Crane is shocked. He's like, you guys are alive? And he's like, oh, we are here. This place is beautiful. And they actually see a huge arena, a big arena, and that's when the call cuts. So that was the end. You never know what happened after that, you know, but this is what I'm assuming. When I talk about the big arena, that arena is probably Bozak Code. These idiots went back to Sector 0, which is the old town, and there they found this big arena, which is the Bozak Code Stadium. The Bozak Stadium, the biggest arena. You probably would have played it if you have the DLC. If you don't, then here's a quick info for you guys. The Bozak Stadium has been run by a psychopath, an idiot guy named Bozak. Yeah, and you know, it's not good. You know, it has the, you know, that guy puts a bomb in Crane's leg and tells him to do some stuff in time, because if he doesn't do that in time, he's gonna blow up. So you know how psycho he is, and that's the stadium Tolga and Fatin probably went. And I can just assume that they end up either dying or being trapped in that place. So that was the end of Tolga and Fatin. Pretty interesting character. These guys are capable of escaping anything, but pretty stupid to go back in Sector 0 again. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this. And if they're not in the Sector 0, not in the Bozak Stadium, where do you think these guys actually went? If you say Dying Light 2 place, I'm not sure they can go that far with the train. You know, you never know if the railway track even goes to that place, because the city, which is Dying Light 2, is pretty far away. It's really far. to the countryside and every place. So that probably would not happen. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think, and let me know what next character should I be talking about in my video, and blah 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 blah. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.
Crane, do you copy? It worked! We're on the other side! And you wouldn't believe what's over here! There's a big arena!
Guys, you're alive?